All right, this is breaking news right now. I know on the left of your screen you're looking at Eagle Pass, Texas, but what we have going on here on the East Coast is something that's really caused a lot of people consternation and anger in the streets of New York. I think AOC found that out the hard way last week. Anyway, WABC News is reporting that the governor of the state of New York, Hochul, will announce she is calling in the National Guard to help with the migrant crisis. And now we know directly from her and her office that that is exactly what's going to happen. She is announcing now that she will call in the National Guard to help with what's going on in the streets of New York. And by the way, what's going on in the streets of New York is a microcosm of what you see at the southern border. Because when people reach the point of where they see the Border Patrol, we have this on video. Where would you like to go? I want to go to New York. Okay, you're free to move about the country. Now, I don't know how much vetting is being done because our Border Patrol agents are literally outnumbered at the border. They're processing as fast as they can. They brought in federal reinforcements, but not to keep people back, to bring more people in, because that's what the White House wants. Southern border is reaching levels that we have never seen before, and it has been for the past few days. CBP sources are saying that they've reported 11,000 encounters in just the past 24 hours. And by encounters, we mean human beings. 11,000 people, often going between the checkpoints, coming in. Our cameras can't get them. We don't know who they are coming in. And it marks the highest single-day total in recent memory. And this disturbing new video. It's a still footage. Should a CBP agent, bloodied and beaten after a violent assault in the Rio Grande sector, can you imagine putting that guy back in? His attacker was a known smuggler who was branded a rat by the cartels. So the cartels didn't want the guy, and look what he did to our guy. But while Border Patrol agents are dealing with the violence and the record numbers of illegal immigrants crawling across the border to get into our country, squad member Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is pinning the crisis on Florida Senator Marco Rubio. So not just Republicans, she's going to pick on one person.
If we are constantly engaging in foreign policy that drives people to our southern border. In this specific instance, U.S. sanctions that were originally authored by Marco Rubio began and precipitated, certainly took a large part in the driving of populations to our southern border.
Mark.
That Joe Biden put out by lifting all of the Trump immigration policies is ridiculous. Look, Congress is not responsible for this. It's not a lack of legislation on Capitol Hill. This is a crisis of choice. And I can prove that to you because these same laws are on the books right now that were on the books when Barack Obama was president, when Donald Trump was president, and they enforced the law and they didn't have this border crisis. The reality is that Obama, people forget, Biden didn't just reverse Trump's border policies, he reversed Obama's border policies.
Right.
Obama was attacked by the left as being the deporter-in-chief because he deported a record 3 million illegals from this country. And Biden has reduced deportations to zero. He prosecuted people for illegal entry. Biden has dropped down to record levels. So if Biden wanted to make a dent in this, he could do it tomorrow by enforcing the exact same laws that Trump and Obama enforced, and that would solve 90% of the crisis.
You know he's not going to do that.
No, I know, but,
he
don't blame anybody else. It's a choice.
He took his little finger and he flipped the switch on President Trump, and it wouldn't matter how great the ideas were. He wasn't going to live under that.
But he's walking away from the Obama policy.
I'll tell you what, Kayleigh, this is the kind of different that nobody should want.
No, but I'm glad the brilliance of AOC has partnered with the brilliance of Kamala Harris to identify the root cause, which is apparently one senator's advocacy for sanctions against a socialist government. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's insane. To your point, a flip was switched after the Trump era, and here is what you get. They've tried to hide this crisis. You can't hide the economy from people. You can try to hide this, but they can no longer hide. With 23% approving of what he's done on immigration, with networks covering this, you cannot hide what is happening with migrants in the streets of New York City and now across the country.
So what we saw, Jerry, just a few days ago, where people were under that same bridge where the 15,000 Haitians were. And I know from my own reporting down at the border that DHS called the Border Patrol, Mayorkas's office, and said, are the videos that we're seeing with the Haitians under the bridge, is that real? So I wonder what they said this time.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, this was shocking to see this yet again, and it was Venezuelans. And the answer from the White House is that we're going to offer work permits, right? That's
472,000.
We're going to offer work permits, but that is only a magnet. That only gets more people, in my view, to come to the country. Is that what you really want to do? Again, it's a failure of policy, a failure of vision. Look, think about those small towns along the border like El Paso, right? They're getting 2,000 people coming in. They can't sustain that. They don't have the budget. They don't have the wherewithal. They can't put people anywhere. So they're sending them all over the country. How this administration can turn their back on this problem, ignore it, and do nothing astounds me.
So, you know, Kennedy, I was considering this, as I have since really the pandemic. A lot of people have left this city. So if you think it's bad now for revenue, imagine when that tax revenue base, when we realize that at the beginning of 2024, the next tax season, when we're really going to know that in the last 4 years, how many big taxpayers, businesses, big and small, have left this city, and you have people who are resource needy coming in.
Yeah, and that's where the mathematical impossibility enters into the picture. Because if you don't have enough tax revenue to support people who are coming in, and we're talking about people because this is a sanctuary city, they are being clothed, they are being provided with health care and food and education.
And cash.
You know, talk to some of the parents whose schools have seen an influx of 200-300 kids. What do you think that does to something as simple as classroom size? So that affects everybody's learning, but at some point, you just cannot support it. And it makes me wonder, what will this administration do? Are they waiting for the entire system to collapse under its own weight? It's cruel and very, very immoral, not just to people here, but people who are also suffering to get here because of the incentives that this president has provided for them.
Have we tipped?
We're getting there. We're getting real tipsy, Harris.
Yeah. I'm at tipping point, but okay.
Oh, that.
Both might be true.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.